I'm joined today by a fantastic panel, and we're going to sort of discuss... What are you laughing about?
I'm here too.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, yeah. I don't know who let Daz in here, to be honest.
And the ringing from the colony.
We were just discussing Darren's karaoke, which he's going to do now. So, go on. I do have some hard-hitting questions to start. Don't want to put you on the edge or anything, but I would like to know everyone's favourite ABBA song, considering of where we are today. Don't know who wants to lead. Damien, I'm looking at you.
I'll start with Take a Chance on Me, but the Alan Partridge version. Like the Take a Chance, that one.
Erin?
Give me a Man After Midnight.
It's a good one. Go on, Daz.
I have to admit, it's not really my wheelhouse. I'm more of a bit of a metalhead, kind of that side of things. So
There's got to be a metal version of ABBA out there somewhere.
Famously,
that's my task. Got to find it.
We'll put you down for Super Trooper.
Yeah, we have had Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd on this stage as well, so...
It's got to be an immigrant song, isn't it, then, in that case?
There you go. Yeah. What about you, Francis?
Mamma Mia.
Oh, yeah. It's a classic.
Yeah.
This is a nice one. Yeah, I mean, they're all classics, right? I mean, you've got to love them all. So, yeah, Daz, over to you to sing it again. No, starting with you, Erin. I mean, you've obviously had a chance to take in the past 2 days. What are your kind of favourite moments that you've had whilst you've been here in this wonderful venue?
The venue is spectacular, quite honestly. So that extra highlight, right, of other than the people, other than get to come back, I missed last year, so it's just nice to be back. Yeah, I think actually just getting to reconnect with a bunch of folks that I haven't seen in quite a while, at least not in person or since last year, which feels like eternity, has been really, really lovely. And man, the weather's been killer while we've been here too. So we got to do the anecdotal thing about the weather.
I think we get really lucky with Macad. I think
Yeah.
we've had past. I've jinxed it now. That's it. I'll just stop there. I will stop there. Talking about good weather, Damien, what about you? What's your favourite moments? And by the way, he is Australian, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah, well, accent, I'm sure, would have given it away. But, well, on that note, actually, Liam, before I get into one of my favourite moments, I will have to say, like, as grateful as I was to Alex in his opening remarks, acknowledging how far I've come and as the furthest travelled, Nindi Gill from Melbourne is also here as well. So it's a crown that I think the two of us need to share. So, but yeah, my first ever time, it's like 24 hours and a little bit of travel to make it here for my first ever Maccaduck, but it's been fantastic. Yeah, it lived up to the hype. I've got lots of mates who have come over and yeah, it's seen some great sessions, like really good ones. I suppose calling out one in particular by Mirko Steinbrecher, if my German pronunciation isn't too bad there. macOS deployments from WTF to FTW. I think it was kind of like a distillation of everything that is great about this community. So it was, like in a nutshell, it was a user experience focused session, which is kind of, you know, the DNA of the Mac admins community and why we do what we do. Incredibly friendly and very supportive guy as well. And really nicely at the end of it, acknowledged the help that he got from two little-known Mac admins, Armand Briegel and Graham Pugh. And also, final cherry on the top, he was the recipient of the Charles S. Edge Jr. New Speakers Grant. So yeah, so it was a fantastic session by a great guy. And yeah, I just think everything that's great about this wonderful community we were part of in one session. So yeah, it was great.
Nice one. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, big shout out to Mirko for doing that as well. First presentations and things coming here is always terrifying. So it's always great.
And in his second language as well.
Yeah, makes it so much harder. Darren, what about you?
I've got to give a shout out to the catering. The food has been absolutely amazing. Definitely the best we've ever had at a Maccaduck, and probably definitely up there for different conferences, like really good. Yeah. But kind of the bit I really enjoyed about the conference this year was the sheer amount of competitors, effectively. Obviously, I work for a vendor, MDM solution, managed device solution. Solution. Oh, too many words. But it was great to have everyone in the same hall, all in the same area, and people had the free option to walk around and see what everyone's up to, see the lay of the land and different features, functionality, chat to all the people. It's really great to have that as a nice little gathering off to one side that you can do your own research and see if there's options out there that might be relevant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Francis, what about you? Have you got a favourite moment so far?
Well, there is a thing I say generally about conferences, and I think this conference excels at it, which is, the content is great, and it was great, but also the opportunity to meet such smart people and to talk with people who use the same tools as you, use the same, in a different way, same way, has input. I never come back home without a new idea after a conference like this, or after realizing I was doing something completely wrong. It was not meant to be done this way. And I just feel so energized over all these conferences. I feel that sometimes we work in this bubble at home, that you have one colleague, max, that works on the same stuff as you, if you're not alone at all, and then you travel and then you meet people that faces the same problems, offer solutions that are useful for you, and this is great. This something with the great content we had, this is just fantastic.
Yeah, that's things that I always say. I mean, these places are always great to meet people. We always work in our bubbles, wherever it is and whatever jobs that we do, and it's always good to meet people outside of the bubble and get some new ideas for the bubble. But yeah, to take that away. Erin, have you got a favourite sort of speaker or a favourite sort of session that you attended whilst you were here?
Well, actually, I'm just gonna say, like, I gotta give Selena props for stepping in
100%.
at the end. What an insane thing to have to do.
The Hero of MacAd Award, I think.
So, like, serious props to her, and I hope everybody gets well soon. Yeah, like, that's just like an incredible thing to have to do. So that is a real standout moment. I was also just really taken at like the diversity of speakers and topics this year. I think rather than like really calling someone out, I haven't, full admittance, I haven't actually sat in on like content in a really long time at conferences now, either because we're tabling for Mac admins, or I'm networking, or I'm also trying to work. So having the opportunity to just go and see what people are working on equitably across the board, whether or not it has like high relevance to like my role specifically now, has been a real treasure. So that's the stuff that like gets you percolating, regardless of whether or not you're going to apply it immediately. So props to everybody for coming in with some really cool topics, and just like continuing to further like both like current knowledge, as well as just like general, sorry in advance for calling it thought leadership, but thought leadership in our space, which is the other part of this. Strategic development, even worse buzzwords that come with nothing but. So yeah, really props to folks this year. It was really great.
Yeah, and hopefully people kind of get inspired, right? And hopefully think, oh, I could do that next year. And definitely put yourselves forward. You know, we kind of have these conversations every single year. People come up to us saying, can I do it? And the answer is always yes. Like, give it a go, 100%. Damo, I know you kind of mentioned a couple of sessions that you were into already. Is there any other notable ones that you kind of enjoyed over the past 2 days?
One that you highlighted in the Mac Admins podcast preview of Macaduck that came out a couple of months ago. Ulrich's Stranger Strings presentation, like the melding of Stranger Things and declarative device management in such an effective way, and again, like a second language pun machine. It was high quality punnage and jokes throughout for someone who had been native English speaker all the way through. But and especially like I'm predisposed to like it. I did get one of the questions he asked correct, and won a little Funko Pop like keychain type thing as well. So
nice.
It's a little bit of graft, a little bit of bribery there.
I was going to say, yeah, that's not quite above board there.
Yeah, but definitely a session that I think I can point a lot of people to who are still a little bit nebulous on DDM and how it's different from what came before. But yeah, just a wonderful way of delivering what could be otherwise quite dry content, just with a lot of humor and in jokes, and excellent audio support, which is probably something we should all try and do more in our admins presentations as well.
Absolutely. Daz, what about you?
So I'm not sure how much I can say, but one of the unrecorded sessions that is only shown at the conference itself, it was a really nice deep dive, as well as a nice kind of grounding for the security landscape of the Apple devices, that sort of thing, and goes into great detail about the protections and the safeguards that are in place, from just raw materials to users on the device, that end-to-end, real end-to-end of how protections are in place to make sure these things are trustworthy. And again, if Macaduk is lucky enough to welcome them back next year, it's definitely worth coming to the conference, even just for those. There's a whole million other reasons as well, but just for those sort of unrecorded, closed-door sessions, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody is watching this one back, most of them are recorded, but there are a special few which aren't, which unfortunately, fortunately, you do have to be in the room to get the best of. But some of the sessions that everybody is talking about will go online, so everyone can watch those back. So yeah, if you want to see the Stranger Things puns and things, you can go back and watch that. Yeah. Francis, what about you? Have you got a session in mind?
I have to say, that was the session. I mean, of course, there were lots of great sessions, but if I have to pick one that brought me something, I didn't realize I could do that, and especially about the security, using the logs, because logs is always this, no, we're not going to collect logs. There's 1 million logs, lines per second. How are we going to... Suddenly I have a good idea, suddenly, and not to mention that kind of interaction, that you have with, these knowledgeable people who actually, we are in the same ecosystem, so to get that kind of interaction from that particular speaker was quite good.
Nice one. I think if you ever want to know how nice this community is, no one said their own session, which is always great, because all 4 here delivered fantastic sessions as well. And I've been around, and everyone's always congratulated each and every one of you as well. So I just want to congratulate all of you on your own sessions as well.
Thank you.
Because they were all fantastic. So I did ask, sort of before all of this, whether anybody had any questions that they did want to ask. And we kind of shouted out Mirko a little bit as well. And I think this is quite nice to ask, kind of what everyone's thoughts are. But does anyone have, and kind of from each one of you really, about advice for new Mac admins and what a new person entering this space should focus on? Because I guess we might have a mix in the audience and a mix of people that might watch this back. And is there anything that kind of comes to mind that I guess maybe you might go back in time and advise yourselves a little bit, or advise somebody else coming through? I don't know who would want to start with that, but it'd be good to hear.
Madam President.
Whoa. Man, I guess this is my turn to plug my talk. Oopsies. No, but in all seriousness, I think it's probably like don't trust machines right now is actually something that I could impress upon. A big piece of content that I've been working on and trying to develop is just like, how do you really inspire critical thinking skills back into our work as we're becoming more accustomed to deferring critical thinking skills to things that can think faster than us. So don't discount those skills, which is something that I did say, so sorry for folks who were there. This is a bit of a repeat, but I do think it's very important. Yeah, don't discount the intrinsic skills you have, which some could call personality, some could call soft skills, like whatever you want to call it. I think it's really practice the things that make you you, because everything else is a replaceable skill. And in the process of doing so, right, like reinvigorate your curiosity constantly. Don't be afraid to study. Don't be afraid of the content that you need to learn. And peer source and steal in, right, like a consensual way. But, right, like if you hear something that someone has said, whether or not in the moment there's an opportunity to attribute it, borrow and steal from your peers in terms of like what they can educate you on, because that's the stuff that like is absolutely irreplaceable. And I think that's true for every level, but especially where you're going, oh my God, the skills gap feels so much larger right now. That emulate, right? Emulate, borrow, steal, and just like, I don't know, support your local library, which maybe is more of a US thing right now. Like you go for the knowledge in places that would maybe be a little less like common these days. Yeah. And the Mac admins, Slack, doing a bad job at repping my own responsibilities here. So Mac admin Slack, join it.
Yeah, if anyone still doesn't know that exists, definitely join. Damien, what about yourself?
advice to the young Mac admin. I think, well, as you know, everyone says quite regularly, but it's always worth reinforcing, there are a few professional communities like this. And it's something that just being a part of it, you can benefit from it so much. But, and I guess to a certain point to what Aaron was saying as well, remember that there's nothing stopping you from making quite a big contribution that saves people time, effort, brain space, concern and worry. And, you know, as Apple's footprint expands into more and more of the world, you know, the scale can be a bit intimidating. It's like, oh, I was managing a fleet of 20 Macs and now it's 2,000, you know, the stress that comes along with that. So everyone's got a contribution to make. And again, as Aaron was saying, like, we all come from our own experience. And it often surprises me to learn what people's backgrounds are. Like, before I did this, before I answered that Apple job ad on my working holiday in London 15 years ago, like, I worked in broadcasting and kids welfare. And now I think my Macaduck presentation, I think, was my 12th or 13th conference presentation. And it's something that, well, you know, my fixation on shortcuts has assisted with that sort of thing as well. And, you know, and for a while it was just, as the slide in my presentation said, old man yelling at cloud type stuff. But if something really appeals to you and you do a deep dive on it because it just fascinates you, then that's very worthwhile information. So find a way of sharing it with everyone on the Slack or, you know, at conferences, do a session. But don't think that because you're new to it or you don't have the admin pedigree that the people you look up to and admire might have. And, you know, there's many of us who've been doing it, like Rob from Jamp said in his, it's 20 years he's been doing it. You don't need to have been doing it for 2 decades to have an outsized impact if you just leverage how friendly and open this community is.
Yeah, and you're going to come at it from a different angle as well. You know, different perspective, different experience. You might solve the problem a completely different way.
Exactly.
But it's about sharing that with everybody and getting everyone's kind of feedback on that, I guess, and everyone joining in, which is always really nice. Daz, what about yourself?
I think a common theme from all these, what we've heard about so far, is community, and I think that is quite important. In the UK, we're quite lucky. We do have London Apple admins, which I do help run when we're not busy doing real-world stuff, real-life stuff. We do also have Scottish Apple admins, as well as the East Midlands admins in the UK. So if you're anywhere near those centres, keep an eye on the various social medias and Slack itself. Get those in-person meetings, get those in-person kind of gatherings. We're all really friendly, it's all very informal, and it's a nice way to make friends and kind of potentially get mentors to kind of help guide you through, of hopefully avoiding the sharp edges that they've already experienced, and just to let you see what's out there and the options. But in addition to that, probably just curiosity in general. Just if you're curious, keep being curious, keep playing with things, keep trying things. A lot of people here, I'm taking the chance to speak for everyone, I guess, but a lot of people broke into these kind of careers by breaking something and having to fix it, and that then sparked something.
Yeah, and I think if anyone does have an area where there isn't sort of local events, reach out to some people in your area and just see if you want to meet up, because I think Scottish sort of Mac admins and things is a perfect example. That didn't exist a few years ago. Kat and the team, wherever you are. Oh, I can kind of see a hand. This is very bright. That didn't exist a few years ago, and Kat and the team put that together, and then now that's a growing community up in Scotland. So if you do live in an area where unfortunately you can't get into London Apple admins, we can't get to Scottish Apple admins, there's one in East Midlands as well that I've been to a few times. Definitely just start to reach out to a few people within your space, even if it's 2 people, right? No, 2, 3 people. You've all got things to share, and then obviously we continue with MacAd as well, so we can all meet up in Brighton for a jolly.
And if folks are ever in Australia with time to kill, Melbourne Apple admins, you know, come on down.
Same for the Bay Area. I also think that there is an Mac Admins Ireland that's getting kickstarted as well.
Yes, amazing.
So add to the newcomers in the group.
So we're all going on a road trip.
Sounds great. Let's go.
We start in Ireland or finish in Ireland? We're going to Australia first, maybe? We'll come
No,
to
no, no,
yours,
wait for the
David.
warmer weather. We're just heading into the colder part of the year, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we'll do it on the end of the road trip.
Yeah, we'll wait.
New Year's on Bondi Beach.
I'm in.
Hell yeah.
Say no more. Francis, what about yourself? Have you got any sort of advice for new people coming through the ranks?
I do, and I'm going to start saying that contrary to my nature, because I'm a pretty nostalgic person, so I think, it was always better before. But when it comes to Mac administration, I think we live in very exciting times. I mean, I don't miss those times that you need to prepare those images for booting and all this stuff. I just don't. But what that said about the competition that we saw today, like you have a lot of choice today. Mm-hmm. So just don't be overwhelmed. Breathe. Take a step back. Some decisions you take, you're bound for them for quite a while. Even though things became better with all this migration, but still, it's a hassle. So take some time to understand the consequences of the choices. I remember I was the one breaking things all the time, and now my employer live with some of the choices I made 8 years ago. So yeah, take the time, investigate, talk to people. Slack is there, lots of tools to talk to people. So that's my advice as well.
Yeah, you can tell there's a common theme here. I think we've all kind of been through the same problems in the past where maybe we didn't know that these tools existed, and then we found these tools, and it's that light bulb moment, right?
And they are so mature today, everything is. I remember before the day, you would go to an exhibition and you say, okay, but is this legit? Does this work? And no, what we see today, chances are that they work actually, and that's the dilemma. What to choose? A lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, and I think there's a big thanks to Erin and the rest of the Mac Admins Foundation team for keeping that stuff going, right? Because I think that's, for everybody here, it's such a wonderful resource to continue to use. So just to kind of finish up, really, it'd be good to kind of get everyone's thoughts. We're kind of coming into the new tech season, and with WWDC kind of just around the corner, it'd be good to get everyone's thoughts on what to expect. Anything that you're kind of thinking that we might get? I mean, we did just get a new CEO, so that one's off the table.
Cash.
Latest AI features.
Well, agentic Siri, I think. Our entire industry and the Apple using public have been kept in suspense for some time to see what that's actually going to be like. And I speak to Siri more than a lot of people in my life. Her lack of agentic functionality is becoming more difficult to bear over time. So hopefully, the 27 generation of OSs is where we finally see what we've been waiting for some time. But also as someone who's had a Vision Pro since the Australian launch day and really starting to do some exciting stuff with Comp Now and our customers finding, we're getting closer to the killer application, and everyone that you would want, it's past the point of having dipped toes into water now, so there's like a lot of interest in tertiary, a lot of interest in industry as well, and so I'm really hoping that Vision OS 27 in particular is a bit of a barnstormer and provides even better capabilities, some even cooler APIs for people to take advantage of. So so I mean that's my particular thing, and a native Vision OS shortcuts app would be nice as well.
There you go. That's the talk for next year.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think that's the space where there's going to be a lot of innovation, right? It's completely new spatial computing, so it's quite exciting to see what comes in there, for sure. Darren, what about yourself?
A bit of a weird one, but I think passkey support on macOS as like a native thing. Perhaps it may be for just managed devices, and there'll be some work with like the bootstrap tokens, that kind of thing. But I think that'd be quite a cool way of improving security by keeping the usability nice on macOS. Again, just putting the whole technical implementation to one side. Hopefully there's a lot smarter people who could work on the actual getting it done. But yeah, I mean, we've been moving towards using passkeys in a lot of different areas, and Apple seems to be particularly fond of them. So having that in the OS as a core thing would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't know about anybody else, but I think because it's the field we work in, I think when WWDC comes around and you've watched the stage stuff, everyone just goes straight to the enterprise and education docs, and they're like, right, what is in there that's going to affect me tomorrow? And trying to get the the breakdown of all of that.
It's kind of like what's the new cool stuff, but also, again, working for a vendor, what's our roadmap going to look like? Because what's the new work we've just been given?
And some of that might influence the talks. I think last year we got migration. You did a talk on migration this year. So if anybody wants any influence for talks next year, definitely keep an eye out for that. Erin, what about yourself?
I mean, honestly, I pay a lot more attention to the consumer side of things, which is just a benefit of a little bit of shift in my own role. But the stuff that always interested me are the quieter release notes, right? Like the things that are happening behind the scenes. I'm definitely paying a little bit more attention to that. I noticed a big shift in terms of corporate and just enterprise support, as well as education support in the last year. Huge revamp around that effort. So I'm really curious to see what comes out to aid in that, especially when we're talking about the reinvestment into healthcare and education systems, right? Like Apple has really doubled down in that space. So, like fast forward through the parts about gaming. Sorry if anybody works in gaming. I used to work in film, so no shade. But right, like that's the stuff that like feels very flashy, and the stuff that's very real is the doc site updates, right? Who's changed on the support teams, and that's stuff that I'm usually looking out for. Structural change. So, big year for that.
Yeah. Francis, what about you?
Maybe it's more wishful thinking than some sort of idea of what is coming on. But I think the ecosystem that we have these days, with introduction of MacBook Neo, the prices of the Mac Mini, I don't think there has ever been a better time that Macs simply take over the office. I know some companies do exactly that, but an institution like mine, like the university, where it's majoritarily Windows, even though people have the choice, they can get, but sometimes there is this perception that Macs are more expensive, which we can question that perception, but it is there. Now it's the time, and not just that, even the whole operations to support that ecosystem is cheaper. It's not particularly dependent on one vendor. You can because Apple created tools like Platform Single Sign-On, which is vendor agnostic. Anyone can implement it. You don't see that this often out there. I think there has never been a better time to have these things happening. They're finally there. You have, over the years, Apple perfected the OS updates via MDM. Things became much smoother. We have tools to manage applications quite well these days. So I think I just hope that these next 2 years it's going to be the years where, institutions, we're going to, okay, wait a second. I can have these tools, pretty good, and employee satisfaction is going to go to the charts, and, it doesn't cost as much to operate them. So that's my hope.
Yeah, nice one. Cool. That's kind of all I have for everybody today. So thank you so much for joining me. We will get a karaoke song out of you yet, Daz. So thank you to everyone for joining me, and I hope you've had a wonderful 2 days, and I hope everybody who is still around outside behind the lights, wherever you are, you've also had an amazing 2 days. I'm going to hand over to Alex just to finish off.
Thanks very much. You guys want to disappear? Please do. Don't hang around for me.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for making it to the end. I haven't got much voice left, so I'll use what little I have left to just thank you all for squeezing every ounce of value out of MacAd. Thank you for being here. So, usual round of thank yous. Huge thanks to our sponsors who make this possible. I hope you all got time to go and engage with them and discuss your needs, find out what works for you in your environments. Obviously, is this going to work? Again, it's not possible to do this without all our speakers who have all given their time. And again, another shout out to Selena for stepping in at the last minute and doing an absolutely fantastic job. Saved our bacon on the schedule, so thank you. Thank you for that. And importantly, thank you to all you. Without you guys joining us, this isn't the event that it needs to be. It's more than just a conference. It really has a great community feel, and it's you guys that make it feel like that community event. So from us, big thank you to you. And the last one to my fellow organisers. So Aid and Max do most of the heavy lifting throughout the year. So I used to have the burden of running this, but they do all the work now. I just get to turn up and enjoy myself. And of course, without the irreplaceable James and Tawina and Abby, who's left now, who do the rest of the admin and the heavy lifting and stuffing of the bags and all that kind of stuff. So please give yourselves a round of applause. Round of applause for speakers, sponsors, everybody else. And have a safe journey home. Thank you so much for joining us here, making it such a great event, and we'll see you next year.